Good afternoon, my name is Mike O'Hain. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to be doing a demonstration of how we can deploy a Meraki network using full authorization with NAC driven through workflow automation. Particularly, we're going to deploy using the AI Assistant to drive that bounded workflow execution to deploy that full wireless network with security. Let's take a look. First, let's try to understand our use case a little bit better. What are we trying to achieve? What we want to do is deploy an SSID, a wireless network, and we want to do that with the appropriate settings so that it can do an 802.1x radius request to a Cisco ICE server, which will be handling both the authentication and the authorization for those requests. Users then will be directed through login, through the attached devices, through the Meraki network to our identity server, and that authorization will happen. So there's a lot of settings that need to be done. It can be confusing for someone who hasn't set it up before. Let's take a look at how automation can simplify that. This is our Meraki dashboard for our organization on our hotel network. We have several SSIDs already configured. Here the operator wants to deploy a new wireless network and they want to turn it on with 802.1x and other settings applied against their identity services engine to do that authorization. Now what we're going to show is how we set that up. Let's take a look at ICE to see what it looks like over there first. Okay, we're in the ICE dashboard. Now what we need to have happen in our automation is if we go into administration into network devices. Remember we were on the hotel network when we were looking at the Meraki network. We will need the devices, the APs, that users will be authorizing through to be added into this ICE server so that they can be registered as devices that we allow radius authentication to happen. So we're going to run our workflow automation. That workflow automation will have to automatically find all the devices that we're using, the APs, in our network for that SSID and add them in here. So we'll come back here and check this after the automation is run to make sure that happens. If we look back in our dashboard, specifically, those wireless devices are right here. So these two serial numbers are the access points that will have to be added into ICE through our workflow automation. Okay, let's go ahead and run that. I'm in the AI Assistant, and we're going to use the AI Assistant to launch our workflow. Now, I don't know what the workflow name is, so I'm going to use a prompt to have the AI Assistant find it for me. So let's put that prompt in. In that prompt, I'm asking to configure a wireless Meraki network with 802.1x and radius. I want to use Cisco ICE, and I want to use it for authentication and authorization. The LLM will process this and look in our workflows repository to see, do any of the outcomes match this request? So we hand that to the assistant, and the assistant will go and look for a matching workflow. And we found one. The workflow is called Deploy Wireless SSID with NAC-based authentication. And what it's done, it's gone through and looked at the steps in the workflow to ensure that this is what we want. And it looks correct to me. It's going to be deploying a Meraki wireless network with 802.1x for my SSID setup. It's going to integrate with ICE as my radius point. And optionally, it's going to add Meraki access points to ICE, which is something we need to have. We looked at that earlier where the network devices match the access points in our network. So this looks good. We'll confirm that yes, we want to run this workflow. Great. Now what AI has done is retrieved the input parameters for this workflow. This workflow can run against multiple networks, and it does that by using a network tag. So with this network tag, anybody who matches the word golden will get an SSID deployed number 3 called hotel restaurant on the hotel network. The encryption mode will be WPA2, and we have, again, optionally the ability to add these devices to ICE. We're going to say true to that. So this looks good to me. I will say continue. Before running the workflow, the AI assistant will list the parameters one more time that it will pass to the workflow. And it does this to be pedantic to ensure that we are handing the right values to the workflow. Now, the workflow is bounded in execution. It will always run the same way. But with the AI assistant, we want to make sure we're putting in the correct values. These look correct to us, so we will say yes. Go ahead and deploy that. All right. The workflow has started. Now, we can follow along by clicking on this link, and we'll actually be put inside the workflow and we can look at the progress. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, we're now in the workflow itself, and we can look at all the steps that were executed. And I won't go through this whole workflow with you and try to explain it to you. We could do that in another video. But you can see there's quite a bit that's gone on. There's quite a bit of error checking. Again, workflows are intended to be bounded execution. That's why it pairs well with AI in terms of running it. AI can be a little bit unpredictable in what the LLM determines to do, but workflows are bounded. The execution is set by how the workflow is designed. And what we're doing in this workflow is going through each step that was outlined in our outcome execution. We run that, we do error checking, and we set final results. So this workflow ran properly. Let's go and jump over into the dashboard and see if it has deployed. These are our access points, and let's jump over to the SSIDs. Okay. And we can see here that our network has been deployed. It has been called the hotel restaurant. It's running with 802.1x with radius. If we wanted to, we could go in and look at all the settings. We can see that we're using radius, WPA2 encryption. We've set up all the click-through pages. There's our radius destination. So everything here looks good. Let's just go into the ICE server now and confirm that the devices, our access points, have been added in. So we'll go over into ICE. And actually we can see them right here. Let's just refresh this to be sure. We're looking at the most current. And there we go. These two devices here are our access points, which were added in because we indicated that we wanted it to do that in our workflow. So this looks good. With just a simple LLM prompt, we're able to deploy a full wireless SSID, 802.1x with radius, target our ICE server for authentication and authorization, and automatically add the devices from our Meraki network, our access points, to the ICE server so we can immediately start processing clients who want to log in. Very powerful. Excited to show this to you. We're going to be doing a lot more details on how we develop that workflow and how you could do that as well. Look forward to showing you that in the very near future. Thank you.